Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Dugout Podcast. My name is Adetola Luashi Roberts.
And I'm Theophilus Osaige Agmalaho.
And it's going to be a lovely show today. First of all, we want to say a big thank you to all our new subscribers, old subscribers, our new new viewers, old viewers for the past week. I mean, like I said, we are still growing our channel.
But the love has been massive, though.
Love, the feedback, responses.
Yeah, shout out to Bayo. Shout out to Bayo. Shout out to Benga. Like, I got some feedback and I was impressed. And trust me, we've gotten this feedback and we are acting on it already. And so, like I said before, there's been a little bit of like the consistency has been there.
Yeah, definitely.
We promised you consistency and we are giving it to you. And it's the second half of the year.
The end of the calendar year for football teams in Europe. But,
yes. But we intend to remontanda. So if we give you 50 contents January to June, probably give you 100 before the end of the year.
You know what? In good health,
yes.
Time and opportunity.
Oh my goodness.
Anyways, so Club World Cup. That's what's still on right now.
Yes, the Club World Cup.
We know that the WAFCON is about to start. Also, the European Women's Nation Cup is about to start. But right now, it's still the Club World Cup.
The Club World Cup.
And have you been surprised with the results you've been seeing for a while?
Not really. See, it's typical of a FIFA tournament. Not the former fashion or the former setup where European teams just come and play semi-finals and finals.
Okay.
Now we have European teams starting from the group stages, playing their way all the way up to the finals, and we are seeing upsets like Inter Miami defeating Porto.
Yeah, 2-1.
We've seen Al Hilal discombobulate certain teams, and we've seen the boys from Brazil, Fluminense, Botafogo. The way they play football is reminiscent of what we used to watch growing up. Why many of us fell in love with the game in the first place or to begin with. And that's what is expected. Of course, there are still the powerhouses. Talking about PSG, who are current European champions, and Bayern Munich, Hurricanes scoring goals for plenty. Yeah. You know, but Inter Milan were recently just knocked out by a Brazilian side, Fluminense. So it's the kind of things we like to see. If it had been just probably a 2-game, like a semi-final and final for Inter Milan, they probably would have won.
Which was the format before, but now it's a bit bigger.
It's been expanded.
To the hot news right now, what did you think about the result that we got from the Man City and Al Hilal game?
Okay, I would not come out and say it was expected. I did not expect Al Hilal to knock out Manchester City.
Yeah, I'm sure the whole world didn't expect that.
But at the same time, we need to look at Al Hilal, look at the quality that they possess. Up until recently, they just signed Inzaghi as their coach. Inzaghi literally dragged Inter Milan to 2 Champions League finals, a team that nobody really expected to make it to both finals, although they were trashed by PSG in the last one. They're not a bad team. Manchester City, on the other hand, seems like a team that is just rediscovering themselves, but that's not an excuse. A Saudi team just knocked out a Champions League winner, treble winner in recent times, you know, and serial Premier League winner in Manchester City. And it's something that should be talked about. I know I heard Bernardo Silva talking about the fact that Al Hilal hurt them on the transition, the way they move the ball around. Of course, every single player on that team used to play in Europe or even Europeans. So
but by the time you watch the game and you start listening to the commentaries, and the commentators are calling out names like Cancelo, Lodi, and they're like, wait, Koulibaly. Oh,
and then there's also the case of a certain Yasin Bono.
It's like I'm watching a Champions League game.
Yes.
Yeah, and you mentioned Yasin Bono.
The Moroccan, the goalkeeper. He was 13 shots on target or 15 shots on target. He considered only 3 goals.
If he's an African, something there. You know what I'm saying?
Nothing there. The boy is just good.
You see that save?
I did. He wasn't even looking.
Just when
I really wish you can put it up. I think I have a picture. I'll send it to you so we can put it up. Everything. He wasn't even looking. He wasn't even looking at it.
Some goalkeepers just have it. They have that thing in them. That aura about them that it's just going to be hard to score.
Yasin Bono was literally the reason why, one of the major reasons why Morocco made it to the semi-finals of the last World Cup.
Yeah.
Yasin Bono was, at the point, one of the best players. I think he was the best goalkeeper in the La Liga. In the La Liga, while he was playing for Sevilla. And he's unarguably the best goalkeeper in the Saudi League. So I don't think he's a player that we want to overlook. And then, this competition itself has not been without his issues. There have been people talking for and against the Club World Cup, talking about the timing, talking about the fact that it's exhausting, at the players. The Chelsea manager recently came out and said this because their game against was it Palmeiras was stopped for about 2 hours, about an hour and 57 minutes because of the thunderstorm and whatnot. I'm very sure they didn't want Thunder to strike Cole Palmer because it's always yeah, but about 7 games have been postponed. So a game of 90 minutes plus 15 minutes break will now take probably 4 hours
to complete
before the game is completed. And then they talked about the fact that the United States teams holding a game in Orlando, another game in New York, another game in LA.
It's a country, but it's a big.
It's quite massive. 7-8 hours flight moving around. In fact, you might be playing in different time zones.
Yeah.
Again, playing in the United States, and then there's going to be a World Cup next year. America, Mexico, and Canada. So, what is your own take? Now, and then there's a rumor that the next edition of the Club World Cup, Qatar are looking to host. And if Qatar want to host, they cannot host it in the summer. It has to be during active European season. What happens? Are they going to stop European leagues so that the club sides will go and play in the Club World Cup? And then, finally, I know there are a lot of questions, but take your time to answer. People are also saying that this is the clubs. They should have to deal with their nations, their FAs. But now, FIFA is now trying to eat from the club or trying to make money off the club. Although they are saying they are putting all the money they are making back into it. It's FIFA we're talking about here. Yeah. What's your take on all of this?
Okay, first of all, the fact that the competition is being played in US it's a bit of a problem for these players because of the movement and everything. Yeah. And this is usually supposed to be their off season.
Yes.
So yeah, but then again, like they've been saying, they get paid a lot of money. They should deal with it. It's part of the. It's not every time you go to work you want to be at work.
True that though.
Exactly. So it's a job.
It happened to me yesterday.
Let's not forget it.
It happened to me yesterday.
It's a job. Yeah. But then it's not. It doesn't happen every time, and it happens once in 4 years. Then the Qatar part. I mean, when you told me about the Qatar just yesterday over the phone, I was like, nah, it's not happening. Like it can't happen. Then again, but that was how we thought the World Cup would happen. And it happened. Yes. And then again, when money is involved, there's a lot of money, and these Qataris, man, there's a lot of their pockets are deeper than the Pacific Ocean. You know,
the middle is the money is
so
swimming.
If the money is good, but the only issue is you're having club players. The thing is, I don't know how they're going to do it because most of the teams that are going to be playing it will probably be top teams in Europe, and they have their leagues going on. They have their tournaments, their cup tournaments going on. So there is never going to be any possibility, but there's going to be a lot of compromise. But until then, we will see, because it's going to be hard.
Yeah,
it's going to be hard, but I'm not going to say it's impossible.
But if we want to go by what Jordan Klopp said, and his stance on the World Club Cup.
You don't mind club. See,
no, you can't say we shouldn't mind.
If you're not in the party, you know what happens when there's a party going on, and you are not allowed in the party,
okay,
and you are a big shot. You know, I'm going to say it's one or two ways, and I go be like, okay, I wasn't invited, I'll go home, or you like, you not start bad mouthing or blacklisting the party. The thing is, like he's saying, is it not relevant, or what did he say again about
his exact words were this.
Exactly.
He said an NBA player earns a lot of money because I know you just said it right now that they earn a lot of money to polish play the number of games that are being thrown their way. But he said an NBA player earns a lot of money and has 4 months of rest per year.
Yeah.
Virgil van Dijk didn't even have that in his entire career. 4 months. Tournaments such as the Club World Cup cannot take place at the expense of players. I don't wish it on anyone.
See, like I said again, it's a job. Bricklayers work throughout the year. They don't take 4 months. Is bricklaying? Is
no, you don't. You really.
What I'm trying to say is
football first of all is entertainment.
What I'm trying to say.
There's a reason why Messi sells out tickets. People want to watch him play. When he's not playing, people are not coming to the stadiums. If he's loaded with games, he would not turn up.
It's not about being loaded with games. Now let's see. If I did not play sports actively, I mean I didn't play pro, yes, but I played actively.
Oh God!
I might not
be
I played sports too, and there was a time in my life that I was actively playing at least 2 to 3 times a week. Yes, it's not easy, but I was able to do it, and then I wasn't even being paid. And sometimes, more often than not, I enjoyed going out to play 2-3 times a week, practice, and then playing. So yes, it's a lot of games. But let's not act like it's an impossible situation, because what you're asking for them to do what is practice twice a week and play one game most of the times once a week, sometimes twice a week. They don't play twice a week every week. Most times it's once, and sometimes some crunch time is 3 times a week. But we all know that that's the nature of the game, the nature of the job. Yes, it's not easy, but it's not gonna be saying like they're doing like they're being overworked.
Okay, so let me play the devil's advocate.
NBA players play 82 games a season, and we all know how grueling the game of basketball is. They play sometimes they play back to back. They play tonight and play tomorrow night.
Yes,
but they are not complaining about their 82 games.
But they have 4 months of rest.
Yes,
a season.
They have 4 months of rest.
And Klopp is saying in Van Dijk's career,
yes,
since he started playing professionally, combined, he has not had 4 months. Now, I really don't know. I can't really come out and ascertain that statement is factual. But Jurgen Klopp is the one making it. He's the senior.
That statement can't be factual. Forget it.
We haven't done our research, so I wouldn't want to come out and debunk it outrightly. I'm only saying that okay, we may be able to pierce 1 or 2 holes in that argument. But I also know for a fact that there are some players that are playing in this tournament this season that were. This is 2024. I'm 2025.
2025, yeah, sure.
They are playing in this World Club Cup. That also played in the Euros last season in 2024. They probably got some rest in 2023, but played at the World Cup in 2022.
Yeah.
Next year is going to be another World Cup again.
Okay.
Automatically, what that means is that in the last 4 years, even not because Kylian Mbappe is injured at the moment or he has gastro issues, Mbappe will probably have had only 1 summer to himself in 4 years.
Okay.
I know they earn a lot of money, but it's also a career.
Yeah.
And you are literally 1 injury away from it all coming to an end.
Yeah.
So these guys also have to look out for themselves. I'm not saying that yes, they don't earn a lot of money. I'm not saying they shouldn't put in the work. I'm not saying it's a job and they should be happy every time they're going to the office. But at the same time, I'm also saying I understand where the complaints are coming from. I know players like Kevin De Bruyne, players like Luka Modric, quite a number of players have spoken up. And mind you, I'll always say it, the players are the protagonists, whether we like it or not. Although Karl Rummenigge, that's the president of Bayern Munich, came out and said something that he understands where the players are coming from. He said, but the agents and the players themselves are to blame because they keep asking for massive salaries, increments, bonuses, and whatnot. See, but where do you think the money comes from? It's when you play games. The more games you play, the more money we make to be able to pay. And then the World Club Cup, in this regard, FIFA says that $1 billion was put on ground.
Let's not see him.
It is what it is at the end of the day.
Like you said, it's their work, it's their career. But guess what? They're making all this money and they stop playing. Most of them stop playing like 38. Okay. So it's not like they play football all their lives. So when you are done playing football,
you can rest
as much as you want to rest. Nobody will come and tell me.
Tola is mean.
Nobody will come and tell me
Tola is mean.
Nobody will come and tell me that playing football once or twice a week is too much for the whole year. See, there are people that they work their entire lives.
No, it happens. It happens. I know.
Before we move on to the next topic, how much is Ronaldo earning?
I don't want to talk about Ronaldo.
No, how much is he earning? Is it projected to earn for the next year per year?
Okay, per year, by 180 million to 200 million a year.
That's what I have to say. That's all.